short shrift.
Unique New York.
Unique New York.
Ma.
Ba, 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 ba. We went and saw Noah.
We went and saw...
We went and saw, it's not a myth, I've seen it.
See,
So I texted Brian earlier that was like, yeah, I got our tickets for Waterworld, I'll see you at 7. And he's like, what?
yeah, you know, because at first I'm like, oh shit, Waterworld's in theater again. Like, well, AMC keeps doing like these bringing movies back thing, you know? So, I don't know, like, what, you guys went like a month ago and watched Risky Business in theater, so, you know, it's not outside the realm of fucking possibility.
Dude, if they re-release Waterworld, I will be there opening night.
But,
And if I want them to put it in 3D so you can feel like the jet skis are exploding right at you.
but it confused me because I didn't realize she meant Noah at first. And then she was being a smartass, saying like, oh yeah, you probably would have liked it better if it was like, oh, I got our tickets for post-apocalyptic, you know,
The Postman.
which this kind of was. This is the Bible if it happened after the apocalypse.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell they were doing exactly.
This was like if you made a Bible movie in the same vein as like the Christopher Lambert Beowulf. This was insanity.
But like the first 5 minutes, they're like, in the beginning there was the snake, and then like they go through like this weird music video version of the Adam and Eve story, and then
it's like a weird like 9 Inch Nails music video practically.
they keep showing it over and over. It's like snake, and then tink apple, and then Cain Abel thwack, and then let's jump awake. That happened like 5 times in the movie.
Well, and it's done in like a very odd style. Like it also looks very like sort of like Frank Miller style type thing. Like it looked like it would fit in just fine with like Sin City and The Spirit. The way like the whole like flashbacks were always told through like either vibrant like people made out of color or just like shadow plays.
I thought it was a cowboy soundtrack away from being the True Blood title theme. It's like guy in a rocking chair, fox slowly dismembering, snake.
Apple.
Vampire.
That had a heartbeat.
Yeah, that was weird, but they were being really artsy about it. But it had rock biters in it. That was interesting.
Yeah, this movie is all over the fucking place. Like, I don't remember, like, if they're in the trailer, I fucking missed it. But this thing has, like, rock monsters with, like, 8 arms. It's got roving bands of, like, post-apocalyptic warlords. I mean, it's like a couple of like 70s muscle cars away from being the fucking Road Warrior. It's seriously crazy. Like, Noah's just murdering people. There's weird like
I was rooting against Noah for the majority of this movie.
There's weird made up animals. Like
I thought that was cool.
A dog with like armadillo plating and like
it was like
shit
feathers.
Like
well, because like it's supposed to be like it seemed like the general premise of the movie was that, you know, the Bible is a metaphor and the Noah thing took place a lot longer ago than the Bible makes it out to be, and you know the first day there was light, they kind of like told that story but then showed like that part of Fantasia where the planet is being made and
but it was like this really weird like
dinosaurs.
stop motion herky jerky sort of way. It's really cool. Like honestly, when he's telling like the creation story, it is fucking really cool to watch. But yeah, it tells the creation story in such a way that also introduces evolution into the mix.
Yeah, so like all the animals are slightly off. Like, yeah, there was armadillo dog, and there were like those ibex zebras.
Yeah, just everything looked like it could possibly be 2 animals, but you couldn't quite sometimes place which ones.
Look at the last Airbender.
Yeah, honestly, kind of like that.
I'm just drawing a lot of comparisons for this because, like, I wrote a book called Many Waters by Madeleine L'Engle, in which,
Name drop.
the twin, well, I mentioned as Madeleine L'Engle because it's one of the sequels to A Wrinkle in Time, so, like, freaking
okay, now I know what
Christopher's
you're talking about.
older twin brothers accidentally get transported back in time to Noah times, and they live through the Noah story. So that's like all my Noah information is coming from. And in that there are Nephilim, which are like fallen angels, and that's what the rock biters are supposed to be. So if that book is drawing from fact, then this movie was drawing from fact. And by fact I mean the Bible.
But honestly, I watched a much better biblical movie the other day. I watched The Prophecy, Christopher Walken, 1995, angels and shit.
There's been a lot of Bible movies. Is this like a recent thing or
1995.
some news?
No, it's fantastic though. It's got Viggo Mortensen as Satan. Mm-hmm. It's got Eric Stoltz in it, the guy who would have been Marty McFly.
Oh, okay. They filmed him and it was all dark as shit, so they fired him.
Yeah.
We should probably talk about Noah though.
This I don't even know. Honestly, like, I'm not even fucking around. I don't even know how to begin talking about this movie.
There's so much shit going on. We could take it chronologically.
Okay,
So they introduced Noah.
in the beginning.
In the beginning, there was a snake, and then there was an apple, Patink, and then there was Cain and Abel, Kathwack, and then there was a third son named Seth. So Cain's kids all went off to build like industrial super cities with the help of the rock biters,
Yeah,
who were fallen angels that God punished by covering with rocks and making them walk like this.
it's seriously creepy. It's like, imagine if a spider was halfway broken and made out of rocks and walked on two legs.
It had like the saddest face ever, because like their eyes were kind of like Tink, and they had.
Well, they don't really have eyes so much as like there's just a couple holes where there's like really hollow light coming out of. Mm-hmm. And when they talk, their faces kind of move, but in a weird way, and you can't really pinpoint where a mouth would be. Like, you assume where it would be, but it's like
Just like a general sense of frowniness.
like it's kind of moving there, but you can't pinpoint it.
So the children of Cain are building the cities with the rock biters, and
Yeah.
then the children of Seth
Like actual like machine like industrial cities.
basically ravage the countryside. You know, the children of Seth are trying to like live the hippie way, not eating animals, living off the land, not picking flowers because flowers are important, and they're not doing so hot because the children of Cain are basically killing them and then taking their stuff, and then killing them and then taking their stuff. So
I should also point out that they show a zoom out of the world at one point, and it's the Pangea supercontinent.
yeah, no, I thought that was supposed to be like big ol' Africa, and we're supposed to believe that like they came down through the Ottoman Empire, but I guess Pangea makes more sense. But it's
Or
just
maybe
like,
that's what it was before it got floated out and drained and dredged. Somebody turned on the sump pump.
well, just kind of showed like the Canaanite cities being built, and then jump cut 2, Russell Crowe's daddy getting murdered by some guy.
Tubla Khan.
What
Tubla Khan.
was that? Was that the character's name, or is that a reference to another character that actor played that I'm not privy to?
No, it was his name in the movie.
Okay, so
I don't know from I don't
Kublai
actually
Khan,
know.
but
I don't actually know if he's a biblical character or like from one of like the side bits of the Bible that Catholicism doesn't like, or what it is.
yeah, the only name I recognized was again from Many Waters, and that was one of Noah's sons is named Ham because Ham is a funny name for a dude. But Ham was a douchebag, dude.
His other kid, Shim. I kept thinking they were going to say Shimp.
Because here is Ham.
Drop a
It's
P
just-
on
it's
it.
a guy instead of a plate of ham. And then Jehoshaphat, or whatever the youngest one's name is.
I have no idea.
Jeff-
Every time
Jephthah, I think.
they said it, it sounded different. I honestly can't.
That was it.
Yeah. that was-
So, Noah falls asleep and has a dream.
Well, there's a part with like when his, I don't know why, but this is some like important thing to the story, and I don't know why. His dad, like right whenever his dad gets killed, he's trying to like give him the magic touch. Like he's got this snake skin, which I believe is supposed to be like
Was shed from the devil snake.
Yeah.
It seemed like.
like I know there's some like Judaic or like Kabbalic like thing, like
like the hand wrap, I
yeah,
thought,
the
but
wrap
not with
and
like the snake skin.
thing. Yeah, he's doing it with like this snake skin that just like magically sticks to you and then starts glowing gold.
And then you go, boop.
You give him the touch. But no one ever got the touch. And then, yeah, bad guy stole the snake skin and just wore it for the rest of his life, I guess, like as a scarf.
It's like draped around like a sassy gay friend scarf.
Yeah.
But yeah, Noah's dad was about to give him the touch, but then he got axed to the face.
And the violence in this, I should point out, it's Old Testament violence.
Brutal, I would go so far as to say.
Like, our God is a God of blood and vengeance level of violence.
Which
Like,
stands to reason. I'm glad that they didn't go like the soft filter, willowy, sexy Jesus way with this. It's like, it's blood, and it's mud, and it's fucking murders.
yeah, a lot of murders. Although I should mention, too, I feel like I've said that several times now.
No, you can keep mentioning stuff. You could have supposed to.
Well, I should mention that I should...
Should mention that I should mention.
We were sitting one row in front of like three or four
I heard them chattering. What were they talking about?
middle-aged ladies who I think were there because they thought like, oh, well, we just saw, Son of God the other week, and we just went and saw, what is it, God's Not Dead last night.
Heavens for Relio, which is coming out soon.
And so, oh look, it's a movie about Noah.
Oh no!
Let's go watch that one.
Were they horrified?
They kept making weird noises. Like, I think they realized pretty quick whenever, we saw someone get axed in the face to death that maybe this is gonna be kind of weird. Well, and it almost immediately, like, it's telling a real quick thing, oh, there was the earth, and then Adam and Eve had 3 kids. Scratch that. Then they only had 2 kids. Thanks, Cain. And then there were the Watchers, and it shows, like, the rock monsters rising from the earth. And it's like,
Blar.
you lost me. You lost me. I missed all the Bible stories with rock monsters.
Rock monster. Oh, I have fun. I was crying quite a bit for part of the movie, so I'm kind of a crybaby at stuff like this, and there was a part where Noah was kind of spazzing out. Why, God, why would you make me do this? And I'm like, yes, God, why? So I worried that I was freaking out the ladies behind us, but apparently they had their own problems.
Well, I think they also had the problems of Dave and I sitting next to each other like, what the fuck is this? What is going on?
I heard you giggling at Jennifer Connelly whenever she made this face.
She got sad a lot. She just got a really weird set.
There were some parts that did like the quiet, dignified single tear, and there were some parts where they were just literally making this face for 30 seconds.
Well, there was that one entire, like, yelling at Noah's speech that she has, too, where she's just got, like, this stream...
Yeah, she did have big ol' snot bubble.
...coming out and just, like, boop, boop, boop. It's just streaming down her face. Just, like, just one of these. Just give it one of those.
Yeah, and she's concentrating on acting her little heart out. Can I mention the clothes? Just, like... I don't know what time period they were going for, but
post-apocalyptic.
It looked like in the Matrix, when everyone came out of the Matrix and all of a sudden they were all wearing like stretched out neck jersey sweaters.
Yeah.
That was what everyone was wearing in this movie. And how snazzy your jersey sweater depended on how Hermione Granger you were.
True.
So they grow up and Noah's like, okay, well, God wants me to build this ark. I should probably... Oh, wait, before he decided to build the ark, he was like, God's gonna kill everyone. I should go ask my grandpa Methuselah what to do. So he goes up, and it's Anthony Hopkins just sitting on the mountain waiting for him to show up.
Just being all crazy. He's playing Odin still.
Like crazy berry hunting Odin.
Although it does do a really cool flashback to, again, another Bible story I don't quite recall, where... the Canaanites were chasing Methuselah and his rock-biter army.
and then
he pulls out his
flaming sword. Stuck it in the ground and just a wall of fire.
Just fucking, like, atomic blast. Scorched fucking earth. Like, it's just cinders. Like, there's, like, this lush green mountain that he lives on, and around it is just black. and like the perimeter is lined with like bones and skulls and like people on spikes and shit. It's like, what the fuck is this?
Methuselah smash.
But anyway, and yeah, his loyal rock biter army is still living out there in the wasteland, so they more or less...
That part was brutal, because, like, they're getting chased by, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no, go for it.
Because they're being chased by those marauders, remember? And then, like, all of a sudden, like, Noah pulled out a stick, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna hurt you, and then did that thing where, like, the rock batter rises up behind him, and the marauders are like, ah, and they run away, Noah's like, was that me? And then the rock biter just smashes him on the head and smacks him against the ground, and, like, they didn't like pretend that wasn't happening.
It was
Like, well, that man is dead.
It was so fucking quick. It's just like you hear the impact, and then just like tight pan of like here's the corner of a rock, and just cut as soon as he makes impact, and it's just black for like 30 seconds. Like,
well, he's dead.
Killed the movie. Thanks. But yeah, they take him to Methuselah, and he's crazy old man with magic powers.
Yeah, he's like, he brings up his oldest son, who's like the prettiest little boy you've ever seen. I thought it was a girl for the first time.
I thought both of his sons were girls, and Jennifer Connelly kept saying, "Take your sons."
Uh-huh.
Like, is she really in denial?
Well, no, we have enough daughters. You'll just have to be a boy. But, like, he takes the pretty one up on the mountain, and the grandpa's like, oh, aren't you precious? Sleep. And then just bonks him out. And then...
Yeah, he just like, meh, boop. Taps him on the head, falls over, sleeps. And then drugs Noah. Just gives him, like, it's like, oh,
like, this will show you what to do.
Have a sugar cube.
Wow. So Noah passes out and has a vision of the Ark, and it's basically like, it's really cool the way they do it, because like the water fills up and he's just like at the bottom of the ocean, and there's all just corpses around him, and all of a sudden the animals just start like swimming up out of the corpses up, and he looks up towards the surface, and there's just the Ark, and that's what they're all swimming towards.
But it's kind of weird, because it's like, at first you see the like small animals that like are kind of like going their way up, and then like he looks over and there's like a cougar that looks like it's just running through the water, and then it's like, well, that I've never seen a cougar try to swim up from the ocean, so okay, maybe. And then he looks over and there's like just like deer and horses just like galloping up through the water, like, what the fuck? But then when he actually sees the Ark, like, it's just kind of like a big black square, but then as he's staring at it, it actually like it turns mostly like whitish see-through, with like all of the boards start glowing like gold, so it actually like makes this sort of like blueprint looking type look. Like, it's like, the fuck is that? It's like, whamp, like, just like I see how it's built now.
60 cubits by 30 cubits by 20 cubits. Right, what's a cubit? But
it was that cardboard yardsticky.
About like this, but bigger. I guess Dave was saying that apparently they used the actual measurements of what the Ark was supposed to be historically to make the one in this movie, rather than just making it like a big old boat with a little cabin sticking on top of it. And
but that's how it should look. I've seen greeting cards.
My grandma has a quilt. I know how this works. So it's just basically this huge fuck off Lincoln log that they're just like, first they're building it. It
looks like a loaf of rye bread.
Yeah, exactly. But, out of wood, and they're like pitching the sides, and while they're working on it, all of a sudden just like this huge flock of birds shows up, and they're like, okay, so they get out like this.
I should mention too that Noah God, I need to stop saying that. He should mention
that Noah
does almost like no actual work on the Ark.
It's his
loyal army of rock monsters that are building the Ark. They've got like 5 hammers just swinging away.
And then Noah just front and center with like a log on a horse, just vooba, vooba, vooba.
He's got one goddamn log. That is his mission in life, is cut that thing to maybe like half a cubit.
No, he's got a better mission, but we'll get to that. So all the birds come, they knock them out with like sleeping gas, and then all the snakes come.
Yeah, they make like some kind of fucking like sarin gas.
Not like camphor. What's that? It's this like the swingy incense thing that they have in church, but it's full of like knockout gas that apparently works indefinitely. So they
on animals, but not on people.
Yeah, so they zonk out all the birds, and all the snakes show up, and they're like, well, I guess all the animals. So they zonk out the snakes, and they zonk out everything. Meanwhile, Kublai Khan shows up with his loyal army of cannibals.
They're insane, and as they show us in one scene, super strong.
But just like tear a pig to pieces with their hands. It's basically
it was like that was like an antelope. Like one dude just grabs it and throws it in the air, like fucking like 30 feet in the air.
And they just catch it and start tearing it and eating it.
Yeah, just dudes like grab it, like just don't need that down to the ribs and just like pulling legs off. Like the fuck are these people made out of?
Because like
I need to eat more antelope, I guess.
In this movie, it's very much good guys, vegetarians, bad guys, raw fucking flesh, whatever they can find. And I, like, vaguely remember from Sunday school that there was some Daniel-adjacent story where there was, like, 2 teams of brothers, and the one team was eating, like, fresh vegetables and water, and the other team was eating, like, wine and red meat, and this team didn't do so hot. I don't remember what the moral was, except vegetarian good, I suppose.
I thought there was some other Bible story where, like, dude was offering up, like, only, like, you know, the fruits of the land, and then other dude, like, killed a sheep, and he was the one that got God's favor because he actually, like, killed something for him.
Yeah, that was earlier, though.
Make up like, his fucking mind already!
That was Cain and Abel, wasn't it? Because Cain was all like, I got you some wheat, and Abel was all like, I got you a sheep, and God's like, sweet, and Cain's like, I got you an Abel. Well done! That's what we call extrapolation.
I think you missed the point of that story.
But no, I'm thinking of Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, which you may remember from the bunny song from VeggieTales.
I seem to remember the Bible had less to do with chocolate bunnies.
More to its...
Wait, were those the 3 that got, like, stuffed in an oven?
Yeah, they sure did. But God saved them. And they taught that mean old cucumber a valuable lesson.
I think you're confusing the two.
And I'm a Benny Boo, a bumblebee. I'm Benny. You know, for a non-churchy priestess person, I've watched an awful lot of VeggieTales.
You have?
Well, because, like, Emily, my friend in high school, her parents were real churchy, and she just liked the songs, so we'd watch them together after school got out. But I digress. So, anyway, the bad guys, like, they've got this whole big camp, and they've ravaged the land so much that they're running out of stuff to eat, so they're, like, eating all the animals they can find and trading in their daughters for food, apparently.
They're eating all the animals that are trying to make their way to the ark.
Yeah, it's like catching them in...
Yeah, Noah, by the way... all of the wood that's built for the ark, because, again, like,
that was fucked up.
He's building it in this barren, desolate, like, you know, wasteland after... flaming sword trick from Methuselah, but he gives him a single seed from the garden, and he plants it, and the next day it grows an entire forest.
Yeah, just like it explodes, because he's trying to convince the rock biters to help him build the ark, and they're like, nope, and then the forest explodes, and they're like, okay.
We'll help.
So anyway, the guy shows up to the ark, and he's all like, let us on, and Noah's like, no, because you suck, and they're like, we'll be back. Was, I guess, the moral of that portion of my story.
Yeah. Yeah, they were going to take it by force until they realized, like, you know, rock monsters. I feel like I'm saying rock monsters a lot, too, but you know what? It makes no fucking sense that there's rock monsters in this movie.
So within the camp of Noah, there's, we will address the ridiculousness of the rock monsters, but I think we should address the entirety of the ridiculousness of this movie, which means we should get through the entirety of it.
Yeah.
So within the camp of Noah, there's some dissent, and that is because he's got 3 sons. He's got Shemp, who found him a Hermione Granger in the woods like 10 years ago, but she got a cut on her side, so she can't have any babies. And then he's got Ham, who doesn't have any woman, and he's sad. And then he's got who's like 12, so it doesn't really matter, but it's gonna come up eventually because everyone's gonna die. So Ham is basically like, hey, how about we have some women? And so Noah's like, okay, and he goes into the camp of the bad guys. They suck so bad, and he's like, alright, I've changed my mind. no women for anybody, we're just gonna let humanity die. So Ham turns into a douchebag for the rest of the movie.
But I want to get it wet.
Gross! So he goes into the camp.
Well, it's seriously, like, all of his dialogue to that point in the movie was like, yeah, but when do I get a bride? I mean, like,
I can't be a man without one.
like, you could be a man and do what you're told. Like, runs off into the woods.
This movie very much was about, like, if you don't have children, you are less than a person. Which was a little upsetting, but, you know, since they're in charge of propagating the species, I can let them get away with it. But, so anyway, Ham goes over to the camp against his dad's wishes and finds himself a woman, but, she gets her legs stuck in a bear trap when they're trying to run away from the horde. And then Noah comes and saves Ham and just kind of leaves her to die, which was brutal.
Yeah, see, Ham and his girl decided to leave the camp right as it was starting to rain, which I can only assume has never happened since they started building the ark, because as soon as, like, a drop of water falls, they're like, shit, it's go time. And, so, Ham and his
Niall, I think was her name.
floozy, start,
Her name was Niall.
this strumpet, start running towards, the ark. And the bad guy's whole army is, like, 10 feet behind them, apparently. Yeah, she gets caught up in a bear trap. Noah grabs the kid. And he's like, no, save her too. He's like,
Nope.
Nope. And just books it towards the ark.
And she's like, no, save me. And then just gets her face just trampled.
And then she gets brutally stomped to death by, like, 100 people. And it stays on her. Like, it's like, you hear, like, popping noises and shit.
Well, it is. It
like,
showed her leg in, like, the bear trap thing.
well, Ham's such a twerp. Like, he almost had it off. He's like,
Oops, stab again.
click. Ah! Doesn't get any better feeling.
Okay, so, meanwhile, Jennifer Connelly, Noah's wife, is all bummed out that...
Giant fucking flood! Flood everywhere!
Oh, that'll be Irving.
There's a flood.
I was so surprised. Were you surprised?
I was surprised.
Okay, so Jennifer Connelly finds out that, you know, they're not allowed to have babies, and she just doesn't truck with that. So she goes and visits Anthony Hopkins, and he's like, okay, I should use my magical hand powers to make Hermione able to bear children again. Because that happened.
Yeah, he just, like, bumps into her in the woods, and she's like, oh, hey, I'm looking for everybody. They ran this way.
He's like, let me find some berries. Oh, by the way, voom.
Yeah, like, boop. You can have babies now. And also, she got, like
super horny, just right out the gate.
yeah, she got, like, superpowers, too. Like, her vision was, like, crazy, and then she's, like, perked up, like, ears, like, what? Like, she heard, like...
She heard Shemp coming. And
like, a mile away, and then
just
runs at him and
jumped his
just,
bones.
like... Just bangs him right there as, like, the rain is a-fallen.
Yeah, and they're trying to find Ham, who's, again, fucked off to find himself a bride.
Which is great, because they go back to the ark. They're like, great, but where's Ham? Like,
He's right here.
shit, we forgot something. We got as far as get into the woods and bone.
So yeah, they're all in the ark. The ark takes off. It's basically like the rock
there's
fighters
like
have formed like a perimeter, which I thought that part was really cool.
Yeah, before the water actually hits and the ark goes off, it's like, fuck, what was that, in the Lord of the Rings, the big fight.
Oh, fuck if I know. The big Lord of the Rings fight is what Brian's referring to.
With
like the hand faces?
Yeah, like the Uruk-hai and like the Ents.
Uh-huh.
It was basically that exact
Yeah, they
fucking
kind of reminded
scene.
me of Ents, just because like their lumbering gait and their slow talking and their tendency to not trust them humans.
But yeah, it was basically that scene. Like, people are like rushing at them, and they're just beating them with trees and rocks and lashing them with chains.
Yeah, well, the thing is they actually had like drilled chains into their sides and like hooked it up to the next guy. So they basically formed like a chain link fence with like swinging clubs of death at the fence posts. So the first one dies, which was very sad, but as he died, he looked up, he's like, "Forgive me, Creator." They never say God, they always say Creator. And then he explodes back into an angel and goes up to the sky. And the rest of them were like, fuck,
it's not
that's
like
what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's not like he just like explodes out and goes up. Like, no, it's like a fucking bomb goes off.
Well, that's because of those weird glowing yellow rocks, which I don't know what those were supposed to represent.
They said it was like a Zohar mine. That I thought the Zohar was like a Judaic
Like, don't
text.
mess with the Zohar.
But I stop.
But yeah, it's like these little
Well-
like glowing rocks that they're mining for, and they're part of the reason the Canaanites had like killed the Sethites was because they were living on glowy rock land. But like it glows, but then if you bonk it with a stick, it kind of like burns. So Kublai Kai,
Kublai Kai, do or die. Huh.
sleep the leg, Johnny. So like crams it into the rock batter's chest and then hits it with a stick. So the rock batter basically explodes from the inside out, and the angel comes out. So the rest of them are like, fuck, that's what I'm doing. So they all start dying too. Not like on purpose. They're still fighting, but you know, it's basically the writing on the wall.
Well, the one guy actually like sacrifices himself.
Well, he's like,
Like-
he's the very last guy, and they're
Yeah.
like swarming him. So he tears his chest open to explode to get them away from the front of the ark.
It's pretty badass though. But yeah, he's like just covered with fucking guys. He's like, fuck this shit. Rah!
And then it's so anyway, they're bonking the guys off the ark left and right. Meanwhile, Kublai Kai manages to like climb up the side and drill a hole in and crawl inside the ark. So when the ground starts exploding water, he's inside safe and everyone else is dying and screaming in the water. We're getting into spoilers, obviously. So they're on the
Well,
ark.
I mean, everyone's probably read the book.
So it turns out Jesus comes. But
That honestly wouldn't be that shocking if suddenly that happened in this movie.
well, because they're all mad at Noah. Sorry, I didn't mean to digress from your Jesus.
No,
joke.
that was pretty much it.
Okay, so they're all mad at Noah because he won't let them have babies, and then Hermione's all like, turns out I'm pregnant, and he's like, well, if it's a boy, good on ya, but if it's a girl, I'm slitting its fucking throat.
As soon as it slides out of you. Mm-hmm. Also, there's a very nice scene right before she announces that she's pregnant where, so, you know, the flood waters are rising, but they don't rise super fast, and so for like the first like week that they're afloat,
It's just non-stop screaming.
just screaming of people like lamenting their fate, and
They cut to the outside, there's like the ark, and then like there's a rock.
there's like a bunch of like
just
rock
like this
formations.
close to each other, with just people hanging on it, like
Waves are like crashing, goes back, and you just see people like falling to their death either against other sharp rocks or just into the water to get slammed into this thing again. And yeah, then it cuts back to the inside, and all you can just hear is just like hundreds of people screaming for their lives. It's like, fuck me.
And then Noah people are like, we could let out a rope for them to hang onto, and Noah's like, nope.
God wanted them all to die,
They
so
don't
we're
deserve
gonna let
to
them
live.
fucking die.
So, meanwhile, Ham is keeping Kublai Kai, do or die, alive in the snake hold, because since Noah effectively killed his woman, he kind of wants revenge, although he won't admit it to himself. So the guy's like telling him stories and feeding him snake flesh and like basically teaching him to be a bad guy. And meanwhile, Hermione and her Shemp are building a littler boat to get onto
Arc Junior.
to
Arc 2.
Scooty Puff Jr. To try to get away from main arc before Noah can kill their baby.
And it seems like Noah's pretty much content to let them, like, you know what, go on your little arc, do whatever. And then literally as they're getting ready to launch it, like they've loaded it with everything they own, like food enough, like food
like
and
a
fresh
month.
water to last them like till they can find dry land somewhere. And then Noah just comes walking along, like, on top of the ark, just like they're down here getting ready to launch off the back end of it. He just walks over with, like, a big bag full of that, like, magic glowing explosion rock.
Which
and
his
just,
wife was watching him put together. And
he just walks up, boom, he just blows it up, and then just walks back inside.
just standing there like, and then her water breaks.
And then he's just, whoosh, which they show.
It just run down the inside of her leg.
Like, oh, she peed.
She peed a baby. There was a lot of water in this movie. I had to pee like a racing horse by the end of it. So anyway, so Hermione's having her baby. Jennifer Connelly's trying to convince her to actually have the baby, even though there's a 50% chance that it's going to be murder.
Like,
so
no,
she's like,
just
keep it inside.
Keep him in me.
And I'm like, ha! And so Shemp is outside with like a stick trying to protect them. And Ham's like, no, you should come down to the snake hole. I got something cool to show you.
And then, yeah, there's a face-off between Noah and Tubal-Cain, which it kept throwing me because the way he looks in it, he looks not unlike Mickey Rourke does in Immortals. So I kept thinking that he was like, oh, it's the same character. I mean, it's whatever. That just kept throwing me.
Oh, I thought they looked the same because they're both beardy and muddy and rolling around on the ground. So,
but yeah, so epic fight scene between these two until Ham finally grows a pair and stabs him and slits Tubal-Cain in the armpit.
Yeah, just like right up in the armpit. Which is a good call, I guess, because he's like lungs and stuff.
Hurt like a bitch, too.
Mm-hmm. Plus my tickle. It's like insult to injury.
But,
so then Tubal-Cain is like, now you are a man, and gives him his snake skin, and then just dies. And Noah's like, well, time to kill some babies. Because turns out she had twins, and turns out they were sisters.
Yeah, like, he spends, like, no time, like, well, I'm glad that's all over. Picks up a big fucking knife and just starts climbing a ladder. Like, that's something else I had planned for tonight.
My honey-do list. From God.
So he goes up, and Jennifer Connelly tries, like, talking him out of it, you know, like, it's like, I talked Magic Grandpa into making her have babies, so punish me, Noah. And he's like, nope, still gonna go stab some babies.
So every time from then on, Jennifer Connelly showed up on screen, we heard from Brian, punish me! Come back and punish me!
Well, she was saying it in a very suggestive way. It wasn't like, it's like, you should punish me. It was like, punish me, Noah. Punish me. Punish me.
She was getting a little, I don't know if you'd call it like diva acting, like the enunciating and throwing her head around, shoulders back.
Just stay away. Leave him alone.
It was a boy! Go away! I know, it was the least
It's like, no, it's fine. It's a boy.
Yeah, it's great. Just don't. You don't
Yeah, she should totally just go somewhere else and just fuck off for a little bit. We figure out how to hide 2 babies in here. Pull a fucking full house on them.
Just keep trading them out. I think it's still a girl, though, is the problem.
Well, you know.
But they're both precocious. So she's like up on the roof, Hermione is, with the 2 babies. Just
There were
like
2 creepy CG babies.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell.
I don't know why they weren't real babies or even like real looking fake babies. They were CG, so it made them look like monsters.
They looked like Dobby from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Because of that same like weird translucent skin and way too big eyeballs.
And they're creepy little like I know babies got like weird little hands, but like their fingers were like super skinny.
Mm-hmm. Well, they were probably a little premature. Little preemies.
I don't know. It looked like she carried him to full term on the Ark. Apparently, they were on the Ark for like 9 months.
Well, judging from his hair, it was only like 4 months. I don't know. Anyway, they were fine. He was gonna go stab him, but then he's like, "Oh, they're too cute. I can't do it." And then they crash land on dry land. And meanwhile, I was gonna mention earlier when we were talking about the animals swimming in the water, and that is that some of the animals in this movie do look really realistic, and then there are the doves, which It basically looked like these little wads of feathers with and we keep following them from behind. There's one point where we followed them from the ocean to the Ark, and I just couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah, no, well, there was a scene too, right after Noah plants the grow a forest seed. Mm-hmm. It opens up this little spring that's this big.
I want to make a Genesis project.
And just starts like these thin little, just this wide little streams of water that the trees are just growing
We're
adjacent
following
to.
in stop motion to
But yeah, we followed
imply the
it.
passage of time.
We followed this thing stop motion across days and seasons and everything going all the way across the world and it wasn't even stop motion. It was go 50 miles and take a photograph style stop motion
Yeah,
it was like you were viewing
time delay, or what would you call it?
well, it's like you were viewing a series of slides that you could line up so that it looked like they went together. Mm-hmm. It'd be like if you were driving down the highway and just every time you saw a mile marker sign you took a photo and then put them together as a clip.
That's something to do.
Yeah. And so it was really weird, but we followed that all the way across the fucking earth. And then until it finally gets to where one of these CG doves lands and drinks some water. And then it flies up in the air. And then there's another one suddenly. And we do the same
We just ride their asses.
backtracking thing, the same photographs, except this time from a bird's perspective.
And again,
Except the birds are flying normally, well, as normally as they're making them fly the whole way back. But it's just the background. It's just the earth in the photographs that's flip, 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 and then it's the birds are just flying normal in front of it. Mm-hmm. So it was really confusing to look at, and it didn't help that that whole scene tracing the water and then following the birds back was just so fucking long.
Well, it's supposed to be meanwhile 10 years later without actually putting meanwhile 10 years later on the bottom. So we follow the ocean and we followed the birds back, and Hermione's a grown-ass woman and so are the kids, and Noah's gone all gray.
He shaved his head like a
fucking Billy Badass. Okay, so they crash land on dry land and they build a little camp, and Noah drinks himself stupid on the beach.
Yeah, it's literally they find the ground. It's oh man, sweet. They seriously, they land on the fucking island from Lost.
Mm-hmm. It is really pretty.
Yeah, they land on this island, and then it does just a weird series of jump cuts. It's the island, sand, hand grabbing a handful of grapes, Noah, cup, and oh, he's a wino. Oh, he landed on this island paradise with no other people around, figured out how to make his own wine, and it shows he's just living in this little cave by himself with just cask upon cask of wine around, just drinking. And it's
his people are inventing agriculture right over the hill, and he's just glip, 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 glip.
And it's
naked.
Terribly made wine. He takes a drink and puts it down, and there's pieces of grapes all over. He's got fucking jelly in his beard. It's he wasn't even trying. He just smush them and put them in a pot. That's how you
in the
make
back of the toilet for a week.
And yeah, eventually it just cuts to a scene he's just laying naked, just face down in the sand. It's all right, whatever.
His boy's gonna take care of him. Ham's I'm out.
Throws him the snake skin.
Yeah, throws him the snake skin and then just leaves, because there's some things that you cannot forgive. And so, Hermione goes to visit him, and she's basically what's your problem? And he's well, I failed God. And she's you did, though, because he left it up to you.
And
so
you
chose
to
mercy and love.
Let people live.
And he's okay. So then he goes back to camp. The end. Although Jennifer Connelly made some more funny faces.
Yeah.
He goes back and he's helping her dig a hole, and she's punish me. You came back to punish me.
He came back to punish me, yay.
It got to the point where I knew exactly what you were, because you were sitting several seats down from me, but I could still, like, every time she made a funny face, I heard. So, I would recommend this movie.
It's so fucking insane. I cannot say to not watch this movie. It's weird. Like, it's not great. It's not even really that it's good.
Well, it's moving with moments of hilarity.
It's a constant enough spectacle that you really don't have, like, you really, like, never aren't seeing something happen. Like Dave kind of put it, like, nicely, that, like, he's like, yeah, I couldn't take my eyes off the movie. Like,
It's like, what insanity is going to happen next?
exactly. And I mean, when it's violent, it's brutally violent. When it's bizarre, it's batshit insane. When it's Bible stuff, it's
Thought-provoking.
it bends the rules more than a Bible movie should.
I
Like I said, like, it shows, like it in, like, a Bible movie that, like, has him explaining, like, the whole, like, you know, like, oh, and then creatures of the earth and the ocean, and, like, you know, and then there was the sixth day. And while he's doing that, it's showing, like, cell division and evolution, like, you know, like, to fish, to, like, lizards, to, you know, some sort of, like, beaver, to, like, monkeys. And then it shows them, like, land, and then it's like, oh, and then there was man. It's like, oh, okay.
Well, like, for
But
me,
even then, like, Adam and Eve were, like, sorry, it was just, like,
it's okay, keep going.
they were just these naked,
Glowing
glowing, golden...
Dr. Manhattans.
Yeah, they looked like if Dr. Manhattan was gold. So, that was different, but...
For me, like, when a person of faith says that, like, a movie like The Passion of the Christ renews their faith, it makes me roll my eyes, like, in spite of myself. But I can see this movie
This renews my
renew your
skepticism.
faith, because, like, well, it addresses the biblical stuff in a more realistic way than I tend to see biblical stuff addressed. It's not like Noah riding a dinosaur to the ark. It's like,
No, it's Noah riding a rock monster to the ark.
yeah. Okay, well, look, if you're gonna believe in the big floaty beardy man, there's gotta be some, like, you know, suspension of disbelief. But it wasn't just like, and then he definitely created it in 7 days. It was, maybe this is a metaphor, and maybe this is a metaphor, and maybe it wasn't so much like a giant beam of light shooting down at this guy. He had some prophetic dreams and interpreted them the best that he could.
And then had an acid trip with an old man that lived in a cave.
Yeah, there were parts of it that were very, you know, more metaphorical than a narrative. But, you know, I think that it didn't detract from the movie. And again, there were some batshit insane moments, like the rock biters. But I think that, like, this is more thought-provoking than just, like, a straight Bible story would have been.
Yeah, but I mean, it's kind of like it's exactly... I would have never assumed that this movie would ever be like this, but in hindsight, like, it's exactly the sort of movie that you would get from, like Darren Aronofsky, like, you know, considering, like, the Kabbalistic and Judaic, you know, themes in something like Pi, and, like, all the, you know, like, you know, mysticism and everything that goes along with that, you know, that's kind of worked into there, along with, like, insanity driven things that he's done, like The Fountain. It makes fucking sense. Like, it seeing those and then seeing this, like, that's the Bible movie he would make. Absolutely it is.
I've seen The Crow. That's got some coming back for the death type stuff. And a big fan of The Birds. So there's The Birds going again.
But yeah,
I'm helping your point.
It's just so bizarre. I can't not say to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fucking long. It's almost 2.5 hours.
I think that Irving might be getting impatient for us to finish our review, but I did want to.
That's a nipple. That's a nipple on the windshield.
I did want to mention that we got the the preview for that Greg Kinnear movie. Heaven is totes real, you guys.
Heaven is like for real, though.
It's like, dude, you would not believe how real heaven is. Check out my son. He knows that I had a dad.
It's like, Mommy, what happened to the baby that died in your tummy?
There's like a nipple imprint on the glass now.
No, there is.
And draw a smiley face on it. Whee!
But yeah, Brad and I got that one. Well, that's a hairy ass.
Ah, it's too late.
It's like hairy brush marks now.
We can show you the ass print.
But no, it wasn't Brad. Who the fuck did I see Son of God with?
I saw Son of God, didn't I? Wasn't that the Sexy Jesus?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I saw that with you.
Okay,
Because you and Letty fell asleep for the last.
That's right.
The last 3/4.
But no, okay, so this is the second movie that we've gone to and saw. The Heaven is totes real. Oh my god.
When it, like Son of God, it was definitely like a precursor for that movie, whereas this one it was like a compare and contrast, faith-based movie-wise.
Yeah. The trailers before this were all over the place.
Yeah, wait, what all did we get?
We got the newer Transformers trailer.
Which I actually saw T.J. Miller a couple times in this one. It was just like, granted, it was the back of his head, but it was like curly and there was a big bushy beard.
Anywhere.
Well, it was a really tall, sandy brown, curly guy trying like hell to keep up with Mark Wahlberg. So
Who is just gigantic in this?
He's like, guys,
he's like Pain and Gain
we found a
size.
Transformer. Come on, Transformer Judgment Day.
Transformer said, "How do your mother for me? All right."
So yeah, we got that. We got some other silly ones.
That Mistresses one, the Not First Wives Club.
Oh yeah, it's like I think it's Kate Upton and then Leslie Mann and Cameron Diaz, and I'm probably gonna be sent to that one. But it could be worse. It could be the Single Moms Club.
Truth. But yeah, it was just a bunch of like, it was just all over the place on the previews before this one. Oh fuck! You got the Hercules trailer.
I had not seen that trailer yet.
It's like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson starring in an Asylum movie.
Because it was like, what is this? Like 300 sequel? Maybe it's like a Conan the Barbarian remake. Oh my god, it's Hercules. Oh my god, that's The Rock. Oh my god, the title sequence is on fire. Oh my god, this face.
It's a beautiful trailer. It's honestly the best looking Hercules movie I've seen this year.
I am Hercules!
He's got a bitchin' beard. The title like explodes across the screen in like this 80s font that I would expect to see in front of like Drive. It's just, Hercules.
It's all like sweepy and dynamic. Oh, I'm gonna watch the shit out of that movie.
And then it's just a sustained shot, like there's no audio of just him like sort of just but no sounds. It's like, why isn't he?
That's
whatever.
his Hercules face.
It's a Hercules.
He's gonna Hercules
face.
the shit out of some lion. He's gonna Hercules the shit out of some bull's restroom area. He's gonna Hercules the shit out of some wood nymphs.
Hey, yeah.
He's gonna Hercules the shit out of his wife poisoning his ass.
Do all kinds of
You
Hercules
don't
and
need
stuff.
to watch that movie now.
But I want to. Out of all the like that era themed movies I've seen, which so far it is only March, and I've gone to 3 movies that take place in that time period.
Which ones? Pompey? Did you go to Pompeii?
Pompey, 300, Rise of an Empire, and that other Hercules movie. Although something tells me this one he might not be waving around a lightning sword.
I've been to a lot of Jesus-y movies lately.
Yeah.
I guess this doesn't count because it's Old Testament, but this and Single Moms Club was pretty Jesus-y, and then Black Nativity, and then Son of God.
It's the year for the man.
It is indeed. The Christians are feeling put upon, so they're
So just making all the fucking movies.
All the movies. But really, like,
They're
Bible
all
stories,
stupid.
like, when you make them like this, they could be a lot of fun. I think Patton Oswalt's got a bit about, like, the Bible being an excellent read if you like torture porn. But yeah, they could do, like, the Book of Ruth next, or that one where they, like, trick a town into all having circumcisions and then kill them while they're all wounded.
Like, honestly, after seeing this, like, I would love to see Darren Aronofsky just keep making weird Bible movies.
Uh-huh.
Like, I would love to see, like, you know, him tackle the whole, like, Sodom and Gomorrah thing, or, like, Tower of Babel.
Fucking Lot's wife, that would be brutal. That would be the ending of that story. So you've been suggesting stuff, and I've been a lot of, like, drifting out of frame.
No. Oh, fuck. Based off of this movie, you would see her, like, slowly and painfully turning into salt because...
Turn into salt, but then be a salt monster forevermore. You're just like a big frowny face and big glowing eye sockets. We should probably finish the review before Irving presses his
More
dick
blood.
against the window.
Yeah, we're running out of stuff. We see nipples and his ass.
I'm gonna draw a smiley face on the ass print. Whee! It's got a beard.
So yeah, Noah. Might as well go fucking watch it.
Go
It's
see it,
crazy.
it's brutal.
It's crazy.
That shit cray.
See it for the rock monsters, which, by the way, it seemed like they're moving, like, every time, like, they're in motion,
I think
especially
all
when
of
there's
us
people.
at some point went, they look like such big, strong hands, don't they?
But, like, they look like they're moving in some, like, weird, like, Harryhausen, like, stop motion, like, claymation. Like, they don't look like they're CG, they look like they're fucking claymation.
Yeah, like they're...
Which makes
First
them
of all,
really...
their legs are all on backwards.
It makes them, like, really unnerving. Like, well, they're hinged in so many different ways.
Mm-hmm.
That
Because, like,
they're
it shows the angels, like, crashing to Earth and then, like, blorping up and slowly hardening into the rock monsters. And that's when you realize that what you thought were extra sets of arms in the back are actually their wings all shriveled and covered with goop. So it was really kind of a depressing monster. But, yeah, go see Noah. It's not remotely what you think it is.
No, believe me, none of the good stuff made it into that trailer. I saw the trailer, I'm like, oh yeah, warlords fighting for the Ark. That's not
you called
even...
it, what, like, Action Bible?
Action Bible. I was coming up with all sorts of stupid names for it earlier.
It's like Waterworld the best, but yeah, the Horror Bible is what it is.
So yeah, go see it. Old Testament fucking brutality.
Yes. Root against Russell Brand. Root against Russell Crowe.
Or also Brand too, he's kind of a ponce.
He is a ponce. He tore the I'm digressing. Russell Crowe singing 30 odd foot of grunt.
Russell Brand, Russell Crowe, 000, a whole lot of O's. Yeah. That's Kanye. That's Yeezus.
I'm like, what up, Jesus? Shit, I'm just chilling. Trying to build my millions. Just trying to build my fucking ark.
He's trying to build that ark.
Am I on candid camera? Okay, bye.